If I catch you at the right moment, how about we do 3 conscious breaths together? It's very simple. Stay with it, trying to just notice how it feels. You can close your eyes or keep your eyes open. You ready? Inhale. Last one. Okay, so how does that feel? Are you able to really focus in those 3 conscious breaths? Or were you thinking of something else at that time, even in such short period? Either way, it's fine. Either way, it's normal. You're actually putting things aside and paying attention to what's happening now. Anything that you notice at that particular moment, it was happening at that present moment. As it connect one point to another, simply by doing these simple exercise like 3 conscious breath and noticing the entire experience is a form of meditation. And I hope you like that. Aloha! I hope you enjoyed that simple 3 conscious breath exercise. That's actually something that I've been doing with my kids from time to time before they go to bed. You know, meditation, mindfulness is something that I really want to teach my kids, but you know, as a parent, I felt like you can not really force them to do anything. You can only encourage. And seems like the 3 conscious breath exercise is something that they kind of enjoy, and it's so simple to do. Anyway, today I want to share something I think is quite interesting and important to me as I go through my own practice of mindfulness, and that's about the 4 selves. And I was thinking, what can I do that is related to nail stamping? And today I'm picking 4 different colors to represent our 4 selves. So what are the 4 selves? Which is, let's say, the brown color represent our physical self. And then I'll use the green color to represent our mental self. And then the red color as our emotional self, and the yellow representing our spiritual self. And then throughout today, instead of just sharing the concept, I will use my humble experience and some stories to illustrate how that can relate to our own creative journey, how that can relate to our everyday experience. And I'm gonna just do my manicure today on the tip. So, the physical self, mental self, and emotional self, and spiritual self, that encompass our whole self. And I want to share today like how each dimension can affect each other. And we can start with something more simple to understand, our physical self. Our physical self is basically our body, you know, something that is very easy to understand, and what affects our physical self directly, as we all know, is what we eat, our diet, physical exercise, our rest, our quality of sleep. So think of our body is like a car, and then what we put inside, like the fuel, is the food. So obviously it's not hard to understand that, you know, what our food we put into our body will affect our physical self. And just like a car, you don't want to keep the engine on all the time, right? So we need our rest. So I think our physical self is pretty easy to understand. But I want to share today is how each dimension actually affect each other. We are all interconnected within our four selves. Okay, so then I will use the green color. The green color, remember, is representing our mental self, right? Mental self is about our logic, our belief system, how we perceive things, how we interpret things in the logical sense, our ration. Being able to, converse with each other, being open-minded with opinions that we agree on, but which is, putting us out of our comfort zone. But you're actually building your mental self when you're staying open, inviting to new ideas. I will use this with this plate M323 today. I plan to use this color to stamp on. I tested it. It's very a vibrant color, so I think it will be pretty okay to do that. I have my stamper here. So our mental self, how that can, for example, relate to our physical self. Sometimes we all know when we are challenged too much, like there's too much stress in work and at home, we have no time to rest, with so much work going on, that actually affect our physical self. Because let's say we're constantly stimulated at work, we have to think all day long, our mind just doesn't stop, right? So that affects our physical self. That's easy to understand. But I also want to share that lacking stimulation to your brain, like a proper challenge, that can also affect your physical self and also your spiritual self. So jumping into like spiritual self is really about how we are connected all together, and also how we connect with our surrounding, our universe. So that's more our spiritual self. So when we are not stimulated, when we are, let's just go in day to day, I think this is ready. When we are going through our day without, just gonna take this whole pattern. So when our day to day is just like, so we're not stimulated the way that we want, that we feel like we're learning, we are mastering something, then it's like our spark is dimming down. And we don't want that, because we want to thrive, right? If we're not thriving, we are kind of like going the other direction. So when we know if our mental self is not stimulated at a good balance, you don't want to overwork your mental self. You want a good balance between, stimulation, like learning, continue to learn something that is fun for you, or at work, try to go above and beyond. That will actually keep you healthier, because your physical self, all the cells that are in your body, knows that if you are looking forward to something, if you're enjoying the appropriate challenge, your body will intuitively know that, yeah, I will be my best shape to join you as a companion. Look, think of your physical body, yourself in that dimension is ready to accomplish all the things that you want to accomplish when you put yourself mentally ready for whatever that you want to achieve. So that's a little bit about the mental self. I will continue to use this. I'm gonna kind of stamp the green all over. I'm gonna continue to use this pattern for all four, okay? For a few more. I got my cleaning here. But mainly this one right here. This right here. Yeah, I really like this green. I'm gonna share. What is this green right here? Sour apple. Sour apple. mental self. And another story about mental self is I talked about this before. I can share a good, let me try to do it this way. Yeah, this is pretty cool like this. Ah, pretty nice. Openness, openness to listen to different ideas, even though um, they might not agree to your what you perceive on things. But I think it's very important to just listen, and that's actually a good skill set to have, because I think we can see it in our society many times that a lot of the problems that we see is just people are unwilling to talk to each other and just to listen, right? So I think um, a good example sometimes I share with my children is just like a coin. If we're always on the head side or the tail side, you never really know what's on the other side, right? And then think of it, a coin is only when you kind of have the ability to stand on the edge of the coin, and then you kind of able to experience to see the perceptions, the perspective of different sides, and that is a practice for your mental self. So whatever that we are all going through, I feel like that if we are able to um, just to hear people out, listen, and then I think we will have a better chance of more collaborations and things like that. Okay, do one more like this. Just do that. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Not the best stamp, this one, but okay. Have my stamper station here. Then we can do a little bit, talk about a little bit about our emotional self. So our emotional self, they were saying that from the teaching, like the physical self and the mental self is what they call the more on the masculine part, or more on the surface level, what they describe, which is more about the intellectual, the physical part of our whole self. And then the emotions and the spiritual self is what they call the more on the feminine side, or more the deeper layer side, what's underneath. And sometimes it's hard to it takes more time to understand, to reveal, and have some and self introspection, etc. So the third color is the red, representing our emotional self. So our emotional self is about our feelings and what's underneath. You know, we all know our emotions and our feelings can really affect the way we think and how we feel in the body, right? So when we are sick, our patience go down, our mood goes down, and etc. For example, myself, last time I was sick, I immediately noticed my patience with my kid uh, went down tremendously, and that's normal. And that's the time that you also, if you aware about your inner state, then you kind of notice that it's not about them. It's more going inward, like what myself going through at that time being not well, and then I become super impatient. It's not that they have changed anything. They're still innocent and rambunctious at time, but it's about me not feeling well and then not being in the right mind and maybe just not speaking with them like how I normally would. So knowing that at that time, with some mindfulness, helped me to kind of um, check myself. But we all go through that. We're not perfect. So what I'm gonna do is red and green. That's my intention. Okay. Okay, I'm gonna tape this two away first. And put this like right here. Oh, it's not going on. Didn't really work out for that. Let me try something else. Let me try again. You know, through mindfulness practice and meditation is really going inward to help us understand ourselves better, understand or know ourselves better, know our surrounding better, know other people better, especially those who are closest to us. And a lot of time is about going inward and even knowing how we feel a certain way. And with that, when you understand or know more about why you feel, or not even like why you feel certain way, like as simple as knowing your feelings, then you gain the awareness, and then through awareness you gain a freedom to make better decisions at times, even with certain emotions is present, because we know that sometimes when certain emotions is so strong, we might not be making the best decisions for ourselves at that moment. So that's actually how our physical self, our emotional self, has a correlation with our mental self, because mental self is about our logic, but when we are not strong, maybe not strong, or when we are not elevating our emotional self development, then it will affect our mental state in terms of the choice that we make. Oh, that's pretty good, I think. When I'll share some example. So, I think I saw a news one time when a person was holding a door for someone to get into a grocery store. Okay. Um, and then the person who walked in did not say thank you. Okay. So I guess the person who was holding the door was expecting a thank you from the person who walked in, and then you were just saying some stuff. You could have said thanks, and then the person who walked in said, I never said to open the door for me, and somehow argument arise. So when you think about that, at that moment the emotions came up. A lot of negative emotions came up, right? And when those negative emotions came up, and when we are not aware, being angry with the other person, and then started argument, and I think it led up to a fight, and then maybe the fight ended up a very terrible way, and then I think the police came, and I think one person was severely injured, and then the other, and let's say the one guy has to go to the hospital, and the other guy maybe has to be legally responsible. Okay, so we don't want that, and it all started with a good act, but not reciprocated in the in the same way. But it's a lot of our emotional selves were elevated, but we're not aware of how that was impacting us, and then that influenced our mental self of not making the right judgment at that time, to just walk away. Okay, if we walk away, nobody would get hurt, and things like that. So our emotional self development will affect how we process things mentally. So when we're able, through many great teachings such as mindfulness and meditation, help us to strengthen, to build up our capacity of our emotional self, so that we can handle different challenges that challenge our logic. Because when we among friends and families, there's so many topics that we talk about. Sometimes you just get heated up, right? And then with a good sense of our emotional self, then we are more able to handle different discussions. So that's that. I wanted to talk a little bit more on the spiritual self, because I felt like this is like really like when you think about peeling the onions, the spiritual self is, each layer is going deeper and deeper. And the spiritual self, nothing needs to be religious enough, but I see it as our connectedness. I think if you've watched my previous videos, I sometimes use the word connectedness. Connectedness is like how we relate to our surrounding, how we are connected with ourselves first, how we connected with our surrounding, and ultimately it's the entire universe, like how we're connected in a very miraculous way, through intuition, introspection. We somehow know we are connected in a certain ways, like the saying, all in one, one in all. The yellows, let's see how that goes. Pretty good. I share something that I do personally. I like to do walking meditation at times. Not that only when you're not feeling well, but when let's say you're really not feeling well, walking outside will do magic for you to recover. Simply just walk outside and then just appreciate the present moment. It helps you physically. That's easy to understand. But it also just kind of bring you back to the most simplest way of living. And then just what you're doing to your body to rest, but also making it to work. It's a fabulous way to get you back on track. Okay. And I like to do that every time I am not feeling well. Unless I'm really on the bed, I would spend a moment to just go out. Just go out and walk in the neighborhood, try not to think. I mean, we always think of something, but just really trying to stay present. Feel like, bring your awareness to your footstep, listen to the birds, just be like a sponge, just absorb everything that's coming to you. Just be simply aware of your surrounding, and you feel so much better. I highly recommend that. And something I like to do while walking on the walkway, if I see there's like a rock, I would just kick it aside. If it's a big rock, just so that if the next person walking, or they're running, or children riding a bike, there's a chance that they won't get hurt, right? And then by doing that, it's so subtle, it's so simple. You are actually enhancing your spiritual self, because you understand that simple act is a way for you to observe connectedness, because you are actually putting in action of the momentum of how we are all connected in that way, in that subtle way. Because behind the scene, not everything is available to be seen by your naked eye. And that's the true essence in terms of our spiritual self. Because for real, not everything is to be seen, because we are all evolving, right? And through this collective evolutions, many things happen behind the scene we don't understand. But does that mean that it's not happening? No, right? Let's not be naive or ignorant to think that we know everything. You don't know what you don't know, right? And there's a lot for us to continue to discover. Yeah, I like this green color. I mean, I think I didn't pick this brown looking for it. And again, I picked grateful. I think in my videos, I picked grateful for many times. So I think grateful with sour apple is a good combination. Look at that green, is so vibrant, so sharp on the brown. finish this up. Let me finish the last. I probably will pick another yellow next time, but the red and green I think is pretty good. Again, every time I stamp, I know a lot of beginners, you may have problem picking up stamp. I roll it very lightly and confidently. Okay, you don't have to worry about not picking up. As you worry, you hesitate, and that's the thing that not gonna have good result. And some people roll, I feel it. I mean, on your tip, sometimes if the sticky is not put on well, the tip may fail. But if you about this one? See, the good thing about floral pattern is you can kind of, well, not the best, but pretty good. Let me do this one right here. See if that will work. Okay, well, anyway, so that's not the best, this one, but it's okay. What should I do to finish up? I will do, I think the red looks pretty good. So I'm gonna do the red with this. And maybe like this. Maybe like that. How about something like right here? So today, the four selves talking about how each dimension affect each other. When one dimension is not well developed or practiced, then it would definitely affect. So I guess, you know, floral pattern sometimes is that if you stamping on different layers, it gives you a margin of safety, because I think they all a good combo. When you put on different layers, it's a nice piece of art. I'm gonna clean this up more. So having a good understanding and finding ways to, you know, put what we talk about today into your own journey, into your own practice, being aware of that, the presence of our four selves in us: physical self, mental self, emotional self, and our spiritual self. Understanding how all four are integrated and connected with each other, I think will give you some unique perspective. Okay, I'm gonna top coat this. So basically, I'm done with my manicure today. There's a lot to talk about, you know. This is where I have my interest in, and I feel like that if what I said today makes sense, I hope that benefit you, and if it doesn't, hopefully that it will at least give you some insight. And thank you for joining me today. I'm gonna put my top coat, smudge-free top coat. And please feel free to share with me your comment. I'll be happy to look at them. I'm just finding, because many people share with us that doing your manicure is a form of me time, and it's a form of us. It's a time where we all can decompressed. So I think this topic may resonate with some of you, kind of have some reflection of our four selves to see where we are at and where we potentially can enhance our daily experience, where our opportunities are, being mindful with every stroke. Put this aside. I'm gonna say the red is fired side, brown is grateful, green is sour apple, oops. The yellow is Gobi You. I'm gonna put this here. This is what we came up with today. Thank you very much and have an amazing day.